the last stage for submission of comments. So they are inviting. Also, there is no transparent process as to what will happen to the comments. So you may very well send your comments, but you won't know what happened to those comments because there is no transparent process as to or credible process to show that through what process the comments will be taken into cognizance. So that's the situation. Coming to the draft policy itself, it's some way significantly different from the 2002 policy, but in many cases it is not. As far as the larger technological fix and mindset of the water resource establishment is concerned, there is no change. It still talks about large storages, big hydropower projects, inter-basin transfer of water, and such other projects. It is a break from the past 2002 policy. In one sense, is firstly because in 2002 policy, the priorities of water use were given. The first priority was drinking water, the second priority was agriculture, the third priority was for hydropower industry and so on. In this, they have changed the priorities. They have said that first priority for water will be drinking water. That they have said. The second priority they have said should be ecology. Ecology should be the second priority, which is a break from the past. And then they have said, and which is the biggest break from the past, they have said that the rest of the water after allocating these two things should be considered an economic good. So the water after that should be considered economic good. Now what does it mean is that it will mean many things, but broadly, mainly it will mean is that the people, whoever pays is able to pay larger amount can get as much water as they can. And those who cannot may not get. And second thing that it will be profit driven. And water for a food like water which is typically essential for, water has many characteristics and I will not go into it, but it's essential for life, not just for everyone in the society, but for the nature as a whole, for every living being. It's embedded in the ecology. It's not something like electricity, which is, you can remove from the system and then supply the people. Water is part of the nature, part of the whole ecosystem. It's very much embedded into it. So when you change water sector, do any intervention in water, you are intervening the whole nature, and the kind of impacts that you can have can be far-reaching in terms of the space, in terms of time, in terms of the number of people and the entities that will be affected. So there is no recognition of this reality, this actual, that what is the nature of water and how it is part of the nature is essential for everyone's life. Thirdly, water, India's major water use today is also agriculture. Even today, more than 80% according to government own estimates, water is used in agriculture. And strangely, there is no priority for that in the water policy. And more than 65% of the people live in rural villages, even today, about 68%. And practically all of them depend directly or indirectly on irrigation, on water, agriculture. And every one of the person who is dependent on agriculture would benefit with better water management, better water access. And so that, and the livelihoods, and these are the poorest sections of the people, and their livelihood depend on it. So there is no cognizance of that reality, that how many people's livelihood depend on them and how that needs to be protected as a priority when you consider water policy. And this livelihood dependence has many facets. Agriculture irrigation is one. I was in Assam yesterday and I was shocked and surprised to learn, I never knew this figure. In just one state of Assam, I was told 45 lakh people depend on fisheries. 45 lakh people. That's inland fisheries, entire. And Assam has no sea. So riverine fisheries. You can imagine how many people depend on So, and their dependence is on livelihood on river, on sustenance of that river and water bodies around it. Again, there is no cognizance of that. So, these are major problems in the priorities. Secondly, okay, I'll just quickly go through it. Just stop me when you think I'm taking your own and then go for discussion. Secondly, I think if it is being done in the context of climate change, which is what it is supposed to be, then firstly, the policy should have taken cognizance of the sections of the population who are vulnerable to climate change. The farmers, the particularly rain-fed farmers, small farmers, marginal farmers, the tribals, the fisher folks, the coastal communities, the hill communities. Now, these are really vulnerable communities in the context of climate change. And the policy should have begun with firstly mentioning that these are the vulnerable sections and then seeing how the issues of their vulnerability can be taken care of in terms of coping, adaptation, mitigation and so on. Another major issue I would like to flag is that India's water lifeline today is not actually rivers or not big dams, not canals. Actually, India's water lifeline today is groundwater. More than 2/3 of our irrigation comes from groundwater. 80% of, there are various figures, between 55 and 80% of the urban and industrial water supply comes from groundwater. 85 to 90% of the rural water supply comes from groundwater. So these are all government figures, these are not my figures. And with every passing day, our dependence on groundwater for each subsector is increasing. So the policy should have taken cognizance of this reality. That groundwater is our major, and we depend on groundwater so much extent, and it's going to remain for many years to come. And hence, the whole focus should have been, firstly, how to sustain that groundwater life. Because that's where the water is coming from, that's where the people depend on. And what all needs to be done to sustain that groundwater life. The way we are using groundwater is completely unsustainable today. That's not there. This recognition is not there on the groundwater dependence. So this is another issue I would like to flag. I'll just quickly flag the issues that I want to. When it says that first priority should be drinking water, it also says, very interesting. So it also says, for example, access to safe and clean drinking water and sanitation should be regarded as a right to life, essential to the full enjoyment of life and all other human rights. So this is an interesting statement, which is good, it is there. But the trouble is that if you want to ensure that this is really a right, then you need to do a lot more. You need to enshrine this in legal parlance. We need actually a water security law which will ensure this kind of right. And we need elaborate mechanisms to ensure this right actually is real right for you. So that mechanisms where ensure that people get that right, this is given the top priority. When people don't get quality and quantity of water that is required for this right to be exercised, the mechanisms one can go back to. There is a legally empowered mechanism and which can take care of these issues and so on. But there is no attempt in that direction, nothing. So also, this can also be, this kind of right language can also be actually problematic in some sense, in the sense that this should be a right, there is no problem. But how the water is to be accessed to achieve this right, it also needs to be assessed. For example, it needs to be clarified that this right means that, in what way the water will be accessed to achieve this right. For example, I'm just talking, for example, in the context of big cities like Delhi. Now, Delhi says we have right to water. So many people are coming into it, and we have so much demands, and population is increasing, demands are increasing. And Delhi gets water from Bhakra and Tehri, and it has destroyed the Yamuna. And it's saying we want to build a dam in Renuka. Now, They can use this right to say that Renuka cannot be stopped by anybody, by Environment Ministry or anybody. That such projects must go on. And for Bombay, for example, there are 8 big dams which are being constructed. Now, so big cities can demand in the terms of that, using that demand to get more and more water for them, irrespective of what are the consequences for the people and sustainability for so much a very large section. In that way, I am saying that this right, if it is not clarified in what form it will be accessed, can be a problem. So this is another issue I would like to flag. Umar Singh is from Himachal, where they have been fighting this issue. So this is another issue I would like to flag. Another issue is that right is okay, but we also need some sort of India is a very diverse country in terms of meteorology, in terms of rainfall, in terms of climate, hydrology, ecology. It's very diverse, and you cannot have one kind of instrument for everything. So there needs to be a space for local diversities to take care of issues. So we also need some sort of siting policy. For example, if Delhi is dependent on water from hundreds of kilometers away, then Delhi cannot have, I'm giving an example of Delhi because we all stay in its national capital and so on, but it applies to everywhere. Delhi cannot have water intensive activities which are not essential in Delhi, and then demand that we need water for all these kind of things. So we need some type of siting policy as to what kind of water use activities should be there, appropriate to the local resource, and which needs to be a democratic local process. Again, that is not there in this, that kind of siting policy. The policy again talks about big dams and introducing transfer of water and so on. But there is no attempt to learn that what has been our experience with such projects in the past. This kind of reformulation of national water policy is an opportunity that comes in a generation, which gives you an opportunity to actually review your course of action, developmental action you have been taken, and change your course where necessary. Learn lessons from the past. But there is no attempt in this at all. For example, our mainstay for irrigation has been major and medium irrigation projects. Even in the ongoing 11th five-year plan, 70 to 75% of the water resource budget is being spent for big dams, big irrigation projects. 95% of India's dams are being built for irrigation. And our analysis based on government data shows that there has been no increase in net irrigated area from major and medium irrigation projects since 91-92. In 91-92, we reached a figure of 17.7 million hectares irrigation from major and medium irrigation projects. After that, 17.7 million, 17.79 million hectares. After that, there has been no increase in the area irrigated by major and medium irrigation projects. And in this period between 91-92 and today, we have spent more than 2 lakh crores on such projects. That's the situation. Now, so instead of, so one would have expected this kind of policy to understand this reality, review it, and reformulate our water resource direction. But no attempt is done in that direction. There is a welcome move in the sense that there is actually a subsection on adaptation to climate change. It was expected they would do it because it was happening in the context of climate change. It's moved. It's a welcome move. But, in the context of climate change, one of the most important things, what is the scoping mechanism? We need to then identify which are vulnerable sections, as I said earlier, and then what needs to be done to address the vulnerability. So one of the biggest things that can help people cope with climate change vulnerability is natural resources around them. Local water systems, biodiversity, rivers, groundwater, forests, wetlands, and so on. So if you need to protect all this natural resource, these are the assets on which people, when they depend on it, they can cope with climate change vulnerabilities. So, one would have expected the policy to recognize this and take, but they have not done anything. And they also, another thing is that we also need to be efficient in the resource that we already built. India has world's largest water infrastructure. Even China doesn't have this kind of irrigation. No country in the world has. But that irrigation irrigation infrastructure, right from Prime Minister to Finance Minister to everyone has accepted, is happening, is performing in most inefficient way. And there is a lot more that can be done to optimize, make it efficient rather than going for new infrastructure. Again, there is no mention or priority for that in this. Another thing that can help really cope the climate change vulnerability, particularly the rain-fed farmers and the people who depend on grazing and cattle feed, is that, for example, if the soil, the capacity to hold water is increased, then that can really help, because what is likely to happen in climate change, particularly say rain-fed farming, and even today 60% of India's cultivable land is rain-fed. Out of 141 million hectares of net cultivable area in India, only around 64 million hectares is net irrigated area. Rest is all rain-fed. And that area depends on rain. Now when rainfall becomes irregular in the context of climate change, and there is a gap between two rainfall events, your rain-fed crop will suffer. But in that gap, if your soil has a greater capacity to hold moisture, then it can cope with that gap between two rainfall events. So the soil's capacity to hold moisture is dependent on soil's carbon content. And soil's carbon content can increase if you use more organic fertilizer. And so that kind of things requires incentives, one would have expected. But there is again nothing like that in this. Similarly, you can have cropping mechanisms like this system of rice intensification, which uses less inputs and gives greater outputs. With less water, less seeds, less fertilizer, and possibly no chemicals, it can actually give more yield. So one could have expected that kind of things to be encouraged, which is not there. Again, in the context of yesterday's Supreme Court order, a lot of you would have heard, Supreme Court has yesterday asked that interlinking of rivers should be taken up. They have set up a committee. It's an order which is very seriously problematic. The judge himself has acknowledged that they should not be giving such orders. Swatandra Kumar, Justice Swatandra Kumar, who wrote that order, he said that what kind of projects is to be taken is the mandate of the legislator and the government, and it is not judiciary's role, which is exactly the fact. But they have gone against that mandate of judiciary, and then there are a lot of issues. I will not go into it, but that's been a policy. Those kind of projects is what the government wants. There are the problem. And the Supreme Court, and this policy is also talking about inter-basin transfer of water. So in that context, there is a problem. Of course, we can discuss more later on that. If there are questions. Secondly, I think there is a section on planning and implementation. We would have expected, this kind of the planning and implementation of water. Water is essentially a local resource. Firstly and foremostly, a local resource. Rainfall is the first and foremost water source, and secondly, groundwater. So and then there are local water systems. So all of these are local sources, essentially local sources, and hence you need to begin the planning, implementation, management, development of water resources from the lowest subsidiary, sub-watershed level, and then go up. And this policy doesn't recognize that, but goes from the other way, goes from the top to the bottom. Big projects and big planning, river basins and so on. And then talking about inter-basin transfer of water. When there is actually, how do you start by talking about inter-basin transfer of water? Because what justification is that there is a basin which is deficit and there is a basin which is surplus. So you say you transfer the water from surplus to deficit. How do you arrive at those conclusions, whether a basin is deficit or surplus? You can arrive at that if you exhaust all the options within that basin. All the options including rainwater harvesting, watershed development, groundwater recharge, appropriate use of existing resources, protection of local water systems, optimization, demand side management, appropriate cropping pattern, mechanism. If you exhaust such options, and then you say, and then only appropriate development. For example, I come from Kutch, and there people even cultivate sugarcane in Kutch, one of the driest areas. If you say that because I cultivate sugarcane in Kutch, I need a project like Narmada so that water can come from 500 kilometers away, that kind of development then will go nowhere. But there has to be appropriate this. So if you exhaust that option for any river basin, and then you say, in spite of that, we have certain deficit for justifiable water use, and we have surplus, doing similar exercise in another basin, then you can even start considering river. Now, question is, have we done that in any river basin in India? Have we done that even at sub-basin water level, sub-river basin in India? Unfortunately, we have not done that exercise in any. If you have not done, then what is even? How can you even start talking about justification for river basin, interbasin choice? So that's and that you can do if you accept the principle of subsidiarity. So you start with the lowest level of unit of development. This policy doesn't recognize that. Okay. It also talks about that. It says, for example, that all water resource projects, including hydropower projects, should be planned to the extent feasible as multi-purpose projects with provision of storage. Now, this is actually privileging large. What is justification for storage? There is a scientific justification that our rainfall comes in 3-4 months, and we need to use water all down the years, and so we need to store water so that it is available in industry. So that is the scientific justification. But then you have to ask that what are the options available for storage, and how are you using the storage that you already have created? There is a advocacy for large, big, more and more storage space, and there is advocacy that the World Bank has started around 2004-5, saying that India has very low per capita storage, and we need to increase that. Firstly, that storage, that advocacy is misguided. Storage is actually an end, is a means to an end. It's not an end in itself. Storage is not useful just as a storage. It's a means to a certain end. So we have to see what is the end we want to achieve, and then what are the options available to achieve that end. That's a mix. So if you look at that storage, there are many other options for storage. As I said, if groundwater is our water lifeline, then our aquifers are the first option for storage, and they are empty. They have been empty over the years. The levels are going down. So those storage, those groundwater aquifers are actually should be the first option. In fact, before that, the first option should be local storage, then groundwater aquifers. Then you need to see, even for the large storages, what storage we already have and how we are using them optimally or not, and how we can increase their optimization. So there is a lot of things that needs to be done. None of them is happened, and nor it is recognized in this policy. So there is a lot of potential. There is a section on rehabilitation resettlement. I will not go into it, just suffice to say that our track record is pretty poor here, and we need to first address the people who have already been affected, displaced in the past. There is justice required for them. There is a section on institutional arrangement. The most shocking, and this is possibly the most shocking part of this policy, it says, and I quote, the service provider role of the state has to be gradually reduced and shifted to regulation and control of services. The water-related services should be transferred to community and/or private sector. This is a blanket invitation for privatization of water in national water policy. And there is, of course, connected with that is the issue that it says that we need water regulatory authorities in all states. And these are the institutions they are proposing as a new institution. Now the problem is that, in what context can water regulatory authority are useful institutions, whether that context exists in India, whether we have any experience with what experience we have had with water regulatory authorities in India, and whether there is even a justification for just wholesale proposition that we need water regulatory in all states. What is the justification? So if you look into all these questions, India has only one functioning water regulatory authority. The only state which has a functioning regulatory authority is Maharashtra. They passed the act in 2005, Maharashtra Water Resource Regulatory Authority Act, and the authority was set up in 2006, and it's been functioning. That experience? Yeah, sure.
No, but last year there was one very situation in Maharashtra. The minister himself got all the rights to decide, and it was snatched away from the authority, which was smoothly functioning, so to say. And then the legislation passed, like thing at the midnight, away from the limelight, and then it was snatched away. That authority's power was snatched away. The minister took it away, and there was a lot of resistance also to that. So I mean, this dangerous turn can also happen.
That's definitely. I think if you look at the history of Maharashtra Water Resource Regulatory Authority Act, it was passed in the assembly. 15 acts on the last day, that was the last day of the last session of the authority. In 15 minutes, they passed some 25 laws, and one of them was this. There was no very credible participatory process, and it was given a blanket power. It said that trading, water rights, entitlements are to be given to each citizen, and then the trading of those entitlements is to be allowed. I mean, I'm not going into the process of that, but the point is that, and now the latest thing is that they have proposed that now farmers can trade entitlements. They'll just come out with a proposition. The trouble is that, first of all, we don't have credible mechanism of ensuring entitlements to the people who deserve the entitlements. Secondly, we have no credible system of ensuring that where entitlements are due and they get it, they actually are able to exercise those entitlements. And then there is a question, and that it is in the context of mechanisms and law which protects those, particularly the vulnerable sections of entitlements. And then, as she said, actually Maharashtra government was finding it difficult to, they were left, right and center giving to industry and thermal power projects right to water. But then one fine day people said irrigation project water was being given away. So the people challenged it in High Court. And High Court they challenged that this is not the government's authority, now MWRRA has to turn. The government want to bypass it. So they actually promulgated a first ordinance which was opposed. They had to take back the ordinance. But then in the assembly very quickly they passed it and they took over that right to allocation of water. So people have been opposing even that. But the point is that Maharashtra is the state which has a lot of, I think we are digressing. I am not going to further details here. We can go into later. So, there is no credible experience which can actually warrant justification that we need regulatory authority in one state. We don't have that kind of experience. A couple of other states have water regulatory authority acts in UP, Andhra and Arunachal Pradesh, but they are nowhere really fully functional. Arunachal Pradesh, it is not at all functional. In Andhra also it is not functional mostly. In UP it is functional a bit, but not fully, like Maharashtra. So that's the situation. And with that they have clubbed this issue of privatization, wholesale privatization of water. So this is completely unacceptable, and there is no, again, what is the experience based on which you are saying that we need to, state needs to get out of service provider and get into only regulation and give it to private parties. Again, what is the basis, what is the experience? Do we have any credible experience that this kind of thing work? Do we have credible mechanism to ensure actually proper regulation anywhere, that people get the quality and quantity of water that they can get? Do we have any experience that kind of, which is long term enough and where people have been, that people's rights have not been taken, where the costs have not exorbitantly gone up and so on. So there are many issues related to that. That's a different fight altogether. But obviously water resource, national water policy should not be having all that. There is no justification. So I think broadly I will stop at that. And then there are some other issues, but I think I'll stop.
Let's now open the questions के अलावा यदि लोग खुद यदि कुछ जोड़ना चाहते हैं तो उसमें जोड़िए।
Anybody wants to add anything?
चर्चा हो, प्रश्नोत्तर तो होगा ही, लेकिन इसके अलावा चर्चा हो जाए।
नेशनल वाटर एग्जिट पॉलिसी बन रही है बेसिकली, नेशनल वाटर कंजर्वेशन पॉलिसी इसके साथ साथ होनी चाहिए, क्योंकि जैसे आप कह रहे थे कि पानी का इस्तेमाल तो प्राइवेटाइजेशन भी होगा, पर क्या होगा उस पानी को हम रन ऑफ से बचाने के लिए? Is anyone thinking in terms of Himalayas, as a biggest rainwater harvesting structure? Is anyone thinking of how we are going to be conserving groundwater resources? वो सब चीजें मेरे ख्याल से इसमें मेजर चीजें हैं जो होनी चाहिए। हिमालय में जहाँ पानी देखते हैं वो आता है, गिरता है, चला रुकता भी नहीं। आप डैम्स जितने बना लेंगे, पर डैम्स के साथ बहुत सारी हमारी जीवन की लाइवलीहुड समस्याएं वो भी जुड़ी हुई, जितने से डैम जो बन रहे हैं वहाँ पे हम सबको अपना ही अस्तित्व वहाँ पे दिखता है। Will we be able to survive in the Himalayas if we have so many dams over there? And will we be able to survive in our traditional ways that we have been able to survive over the years? क्योंकि अब पहाड़ों की परिस्थिति वो नहीं है जो 100 साल पहले या 200 साल पहले थी, जब से IFS आए हैं वहाँ से। After the IFS has come and taken control of the forest resources and the forests of Himalaya. And I give an example of Uttarakhand. 75% of the total land in Uttarakhand is under the IFS. We have only 25% of the land. It's slightly tight, but it's, I think, what happens is when they control 75% of the land, any small deviation from the natural path impacts us very grossly. Now, if our mountains are becoming drier, there is immigration taking place. People are now moving down. We don't have economic, the land holdings cannot sustain the people over there anymore. So, there are various related issues. Now, if water, which is so essential for the health of the mountains, is not conserved, and if the national water policy does not take such things into consideration, I think there's some major drawback in anything that we have done.
One thing I wanted to add to this, the second priority, they say ecological water is the second priority, which means environmental flows in one sense, or the rivers. So what is the status of situation in India? There is no law which requires environment in river water flow in the rivers. There is no law in India. You can just dam a river, take away all the water, whether it's hydropower project, dam, diversion, there is no law which requires that rivers must have continued, perennial rivers at least have continued to flow all around the year. And secondly, even in 2002 policy, there was a mention of minimum flows in the river. After 2002, the situation of the rivers in India has only gone worse, much worse. There has been no attempt in that direction. So actually, such things they have said, but there is no backing, legally, policy-wise, program-wise, any will to ensure the implementation. And lastly, of course, tomorrow is the last day. So whether one of the things we have written to the ministry is that the government should translate this policy into all the languages of India. They should send the draft to all Gram Sabhas and all Mohallas and ask their view that what kind of a national water policy we need. And there should be a credible mechanism which will take into course all such inputs. And based on such a process, there is no hurry. What is the hurry of quickly going through it? We have time. And they have started since 2010, we should have done that earlier. But even now we can do that. So, one of the things I have written, and I would suggest that if you agree, you should also write that this kind of process is required and it should be gone through and not finalize this kind of policy.
यही आइडिया कि अभी ये वाटर पॉलिसी की अच्छे दिन कल तक अगर ऑब्जेक्शन लेना है तो किसी को पता तो है
नहीं जिनको पता है वो भेज दी मेरा ये
वो भेज मेरे ख्याल आप लोगों को तो देना भी चाहिए, पर एक हम लोग जो सब लोग एक डिमांड जरूर करें कि अभी 2 महीने का 3 महीने का नेशनल डिबेट होना चाहिए।
नहीं एक प्रोसेस करना है तो 6 महीने लगा,
6 महीने लगा,
कोई दिक्कत नहीं,
क्योंकि पूरे देश में इसको ग्राम सभा तक जाना चाहिए पानी के सवाल को। डेफिनेटली ये बात तब तक निकली जाएगी, बात नहीं होगी तो बात नहीं होगी, क्योंकि स्टेट वाटर पॉलिसी बनाते बार भी सब गड़बड़ हुई है। और वो पता नहीं इन्होंने क्या डॉक्यूमेंट स्टेट वाटर पॉलिसी के डॉक्यूमेंट को फिलअप करके बनाया होगा या थोड़ा और
नहीं, ये तो
तो
अपना
फिर-
वो अपनी विजडम दूसरे से नहीं लेते,
हाँ यार, वो ज़्यादा विद्वान है।
अपने आप को ही वाइस समझते हैं।
I have two questions.
Yeah.
Fine.
Water policy conduct is the legal status. Is it enforced?
No,
In the government?
No, it is not. There is-
Yeah, but the executive decisions will be taken based on this water policy.
They can or they need not.
So there is one danger here, like the whole user fees and the whole commodification process, which is a part of the neoliberal offensive of the people as a whole.
Yes.
So if this is an enforceable document, तो हम लोगों को एक रेजिस्टेंस का भी एक्शन प्लान पूरा रखना, we should not see in isolation from the entire LPG discourse or government of India's goal. तो एक रेजिस्टेंस का भी प्लान होना चाहिए। और दूसरी बात है कि इसका जो ऑब्जेक्शन का टाइम लिमिट अगर कल है, so I would suggest कि हम लोग जितने लोग हैं यहाँ, we could give a collective objection to some of us can draft it, or we could also pass a resolution today all of us on the view and that we condemn it, we oppose it, और हम लोग की तरफ से collective objection भी डाल दिया जाए।
I have two questions.
बोलना था कि खाली वाटर पॉलिसी पर हम डिस्कशन करेंगे या करेंगे तो पूरी बात नहीं, हम कम से कम 3 डॉक्यूमेंट समझने की जरूरत है जो प्रोसेस चल रहे हैं। एक NGER है, उससे आइसोलेशन में इस डॉक्यूमेंट को नहीं देख सकते। नेशनल गंगा रिवर बेसिन अथॉरिटी जो बनाई गई है और उसमें जो कुछ प्राइवेटाइजेशन और पूरे पानी को बेचने का खेल है वो, ये उसको सप्लीमेंट्री डॉक्यूमेंट है। तो इसके अलावा तीसरा जो इस वाटर लिंकिंग रिवर लिंकेज की बात है, यदि हम तीनों को एक साथ पढ़ेंगे तो सिवाय वाटर को जो पानी है उसको विदेशी कंपनियों के हाथ में बेचने के सिवाय और कुछ गेम नहीं है, चाहे वो क्लाइमेट चेंज के नाम से हो या कोई भी नाम से हो। और ये जो वाटर पॉलिसी भी है, हिंदी में तो कुछ उसको समझ किसी को नहीं आएगी, संस्कृत वाले को भी शायद, पर जो उसमें है बहुत साफ तरह से कहा है कि जो लोकल सेल्फ गवर्नमेंट हैं उसकी जगह कोई प्राइवेट कंपनी भी उसको सर्विस प्रोवाइड कर सकती है। और पानी को प्रायोरिटी आप बोलते हैं ड्रिंकिंग वाटर को एक जगह बोल रहे हैं, पर जहाँ पर कमर्शियल सेक्शन है उसमें साफ साफ कहा गया है वो बिक्री की वस्तु है, तो प्रायोरिटी तो नहीं रही, जिसको खरीद नहीं सकता वो क्या करेगा। और ये पूरा जो वाटर पॉलिसी है पुलिंदा है कंट्राडिक्शन है, यहाँ वहाँ से लेकर उन्होंने दे दिया है, पर उसको सीधा यदि हम जाएंगे कमर्शियल पार्ट में तो कमोडिफिकेशन के सिवा उसमें कुछ नहीं। दूसरा ये बात भी चल रही है कि जैसे अभी कमोडिटी एक्सचेंज में वाटर भी ट्रेड हो सकता है, होना चाहिए, ये बात भी उसमें है। तो खाली आइसोलेशन में नहीं करके हमको ये 3 डॉक्यूमेंट कम से कम देखने चाहिए और फिर पूरा खेल समझ में आता है किस तरह। रिवर फ्लो की बात जो इसमें भी कर रहे हैं, इकोलॉजिकल जो आपने सेकंड बोला, वो भी मल्टीनेशनल्स को रिवर फ्लो कौन सा होगा ये इसको बात नहीं है, जो STPs लगाए जाएंगे वो रिवर फ्लो कर सकते हैं। तो पहले आप सीवेज बनाइए, सीवेज क्रिएट कीजिए और उसके बाद ट्रीट कीजिए और फिर पूरा देखना। पानी इरिगेशन के लिए कितना यूज हो रहा है वो तो पता नहीं, 6000 से लेके 15000 कर दिया पर गंगा कैनाल से उन्होंने, और वो सब पानी दिल्ली में भेज रहे हैं। अब नोएडा को भी पानी चाहिए, 6 करोड़ की आबादी दिल्ली NCR में है, तो वो पानी पर अधिकार उन्हीं का होगा, वो उनको खरीदना पड़ेगा। कानपुर नगर निगम प्रपोज कर रहा है 1 रुपये 4 पैसे लीटर पानी, और रेगुलेशन की जो बात हो रही है वो रेगुलेशन ये होगा कि आप हैंडपंप से पानी नहीं ले सकते, हैंडपंप से पानी लेंगे तो आपको 1.5 गुना पैसा देना पड़ेगा। तो रेगुलेशन उसके कि यू विल बी फोर्स्ड टू गो टू द प्राइवेटाइज कंपनीज। तो तीनों डॉक्यूमेंट को वो करना चाहिए। एक इक्विटेशन भी चल रही है, उसको भी हम लोग कर सकते हैं इस पर यहाँ पर भी यदि हम करना चाहिए रेजोल्यूशन तो करना चाहिए।
Yeah, it's just like, I want to find out how do you grow. Can I just ask my question if you don't mind?
Just one second.
Yeah.
There's another slip of paper going around, but we just write their names and address and
एक्चुअली मैंने भी एक वो करवा दिया था किसी भी
notebook चाहिए.
Okay.
Yeah, Sakasa.
Yeah. So, Mr. Sakhar, like, how do you do sugarcane and kutch?
How do you grow?
Yeah, I mean, you know, where does the water come from?
Groundwater.
Groundwater. Oh, I see.
There is an area in around Mandvi which is called sort of Paris of Kutch. There is sufficient groundwater there. So they do that.
Okay. Now, which was the committee which sort of formed this water policy, and is it now, I mean, after tomorrow, is it going to be then implemented? And, you know, when you talk of the local level solution, then, you know, which would be the authority, who would be the people who would sort of control that local level solution and then, you know, going upwards? Would it be the panchayat or would it be the regulatory authority? Who would it be?
As far as the first question is concerned, as I said earlier, in 2010 the ministry formed a committee.
So who was part of that committee? Was it only the bureaucrats?
Yeah, mostly current bureaucrats and some former bureaucrats mostly.
Okay.
Some foreign agencies as well.
No, they were, I think,
Consultants, yes.
the consultants they were not part of the committee.
No, they were not part of it. They have done a framework, a water framework, which is prepared by the foreign agencies. And they have just, most of the things are taken from there in this.
But they didn't think of consulting other people who are, you know,
See,
experts in water.
See, what they did in 2010, they formed it, and then they started working on draft, and then they did have some meetings. They said this is consultation process we had, in which they had meetings in 4 places around India, where they called some selected Panchayat Raj members, and then they had some consultation meeting with NGOs and experts. But they have put that in the website, what they did after 1st of February. When they put the draft, they said we had this consultation process also. So, firstly, that's completely inadequate process, and even the committee is not credible. And secondly, I think they should have made it public right in the beginning that we are doing this reformulation policy. This is the committee. This is the process. Then a lot of people would have, there 1.5 years, a lot of people would have intervened and done a lot of things. So they didn't do any such thing. So that was completely inadequate. And coming to your second question, what will happen after tomorrow? I think what their plan is that whatever submissions that come to them, they will, that committee will look at them and decide what to do with them. My guess is mostly they will just go ahead, maybe they will do tinkering here and there in words. वही तो actually there is no credible process as to show what will really happen. And coming to your last question, see, actually it's not regulatory authority. Water has to be managed beginning at the local lowest level, and lowest level in India is Gram Sabha or the Panchayat. So it has to be start and federated upstairs. And even over the Panchayat Raj Acts and PESA and others have given right to the panchayats and scheduled areas for water resource in that area, but no state has implemented it. So we need that to be implemented, and the whole process starts from there to upwards.
But the panchayats, you know, the capacity do you think can be built in
Where it is
terms
necessary,
of water conservation, you know, how do they manage in that particular area, whatever?
मेरे गांव
You
के
know,
पास
these are-
एक सेकंड, मेरे गांव में कितना बारिश होता है, क्या पानी रिसोर्सेज है, कितना भूजल है, कौन कितना इस्तेमाल करता है, वो मेरे सिवा कोई नहीं जानता। गांव के लोगों को पता है क्या सिचुएशन।
तो और कौन कर भी कौन रहा है? सरकार तो कर रही है।
So they have, no, as far as the development, they may need some capacity institutions.
You know, like check dams or whatever.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know.
So there we need that. So that's okay. Yeah, panchayats can do it, but where will
the system and they have built micro hydros,
Exactly.
small thing.
they can do.
It is very successful. Panchayat level water management in Kerala.
कंजर्वेशन में हमारा एक्सपीरियंस है कंजर्वेशन में जहाँ पंचायत और मैडम मंडलों ने कर लिया वो बच गया सरकार से भी उससे
Of course.
So you know, in where it is necessary, capacity building can happen.
Right, of course.
That's not a problem.
वही करते हैं
They know the best.
टिप्पणी कि मुझे हैरानी हो रही है कि आप कह रहे हो कि इस नीति में कहीं पर कृषि का ज़्यादा कुछ जिक्र है नहीं, as in
Priority नहीं.
priority नहीं. What does it actually say about agriculture? Because when 65-70 crore people are dependent on
यार it's not needed
livelihood.
it's not needed मैं कल फतेहाबाद गया था पूरी नहर बनाई है ना बागड़ा की वो रिएक्टर को दी जा रही है और राजस्थान तक जाम पानी देके भूखे मारे जाएंगे अब अभी कल वहीं से आया गोरखपुर से पूरी नहर जो राजस्थान तक पानी देगी अब उस रिएक्टर को जाएगा पानी जाएगी इट इज अ प्रायोरिटी जिसके लिए बनाया गया था बागड़ा।
And what do you mean by environment, that part, number 2? Yeah, ecology, yeah.
Yeah, see, as far as this question agriculture is concerned, I'll just tell you what are the sections. Section 1 is preamble, which is pretty long. Section 2 is water framework law. Section 3 is uses of water. Section 4 is adaptation to climate change. Then enhancing water available for use. Section 6 is demand management and water use efficiency. Water pricing. Section 7. 8 is preservation of river corridor, water bodies, infrastructure. Project planning implementation is section 9. 10 is resettlement and rehabilitation. Preparedness for flood and drought is 11. 12 is water supply and sanitation. Institutional arrangements is 13. 14 international rivers. 15 database information system. 16 research and training. That's it. There is no section on irrigation or agriculture. That's it. In between, of course, there is some.
Here and there.
Yeah.
That's what I
In
mean.
between, yeah.
Quite contradictory. If you just read it.
आपने उसका कमेंट्री कमेंट्स सुना है?
हाँ?
मेरा ख्याल कमेंट्स जो आपने बनाया उसको सपोर्ट करके
हाँ, मेरे हमारे कमेंट्स तो हमने पहले भी सर्कुलेट किए थे, हम कर सकते हैं।
हम लोग आज
रेजोल्यूशन तो ये हो सकता है कि इसको 6 महीने बढ़ाया जाए और पूरी डिबेट देश भर में हो।
जो हमारा कह रहे थे कि हर विधानसभा में पॉलिसी एक बार
वहाँ जाना चाहिए तो
और वहाँ पे उनको रिस्पॉन्ड करने का टाइम
लगता है कई संगठन इस नीति को पढ़े नहीं होंगे या जानते नहीं होंगे क्या है उसमें। तो मेरी सुझाव ये है कि संक्षिप्त में या 2 या 3 पन्ने में यदि हिंदी में कुछ पर्चा बनाया जा सकता है कि इस पर क्या लिखा गया है मुख्यतः संक्षिप्त में और हमारी क्या सोच है, क्या हमारी जो बन सकता है। तो फिर ये तो हम लोग अलग अलग खास करके जो कृषि अलग संगठन में या स्टूडेंट के संगठन में हो, वुमेन्स ऑर्गेनाइजेशन उसमें हम लोग बांट सकते हैं भाई ईमेल या जिनको हम जानते हैं। तो ये फिर उसके बाद वो खुद रिस्पॉन्ड करें जिस तरह से वो सोचते हैं। वी कैन पुट आवर व्यूज बट दे कैन रिस्पॉन्ड इन देयर ओन वे। I feel there will be usefulness and then they can also make their own purchase based on this purchase.
एक चीज
मेरी सुझाव है कि
और
ईमान जो है
भी हमको निकालनी चाहिए चिट्ठी।
नहीं, हमारा तो
अगर
ये
रिस्पॉन्ड करें
है।
मिनिस्ट्री को भी इसको एक्सप्लेन करें।
इसको
You can create a community.
हम लोग जो आज बैठे हैं ना, कम से कम कंडेम करते हुए तो कुछ
वो तो ड्राफ्ट कर लो उसको।
If everyone agrees, but what I suggest is at the same time, whoever has the capacity and the time should anyway send an email. Everybody, as many as possible, saying firstly that we need this kind of process, that the policy should be translated in all Indian languages, take it to the Gram Sabha and Mohalla, have a credible mechanism which will do this review process and extend this by 6 months if necessary more, and
रीजनल लैंग्वेज में ट्रांसलेट हो
बिल्कुल। और फिर इसका ये प्रोसेस होना चाहिए। ये और उसके साथ आप लोग जोड़ सकते हैं आपके क्या और प्रॉब्लम अकोमोडेशन, प्राइवेटाइजेशन।
But that has to be done by today. It must be done by today.
वेबसाइट कभी भी
तो चिट्ठी तो निकल जाएगा सब लोग गवर्नमेंट को चल जाए।
उनकी वेबसाइट पे लिखा है email
नारा भी है
This has to be done by today. This
tomorrow.
evening.
You
By
can
tomorrow.
tomorrow is the last day.
Okay.
पर वो जो कमेंट आपने बनाया उनको तो हम सबमिट कर सकते हैं ना।
एक बार हाँ।
वेबसाइट पे है।
10-12 लोगों ने अपने
वो हम सब लोग उस पर साइन कर देते हैं। वो उसमें तो हमारा सहमति है।
हाँ सर,
हम लोग
ये हमारी वेबसाइट पे है।
जो इन्होंने डॉक्यूमेंट भेज दिया